Hey guys, it's Michael here, and hey, I've got a very special guest with us today, and it is Contessa. Say hello, Contessa.
Hi, I'm so excited to be back. Thank you so much for having me here tonight with you. Yay!
All right, and now the topic for our video today is like what it's like to be a healer, and how to kind of start out the different modalities, and like what you can do as a healer, some warnings, some tips to start off with, and we're just gonna go from there. I mean, there's so much with healing. Like I don't know it all, and Contessa's been quite past quite a few years, and like I'm kind of curious to see where she's been throughout her journey. 'Cause I believe it's like we go through so many journeys, and you just kind of like you flow through those and you learn so much. Yeah.
Oh,
So
oh,
how did
yeah.
you start out as a healer, Contessa? I know pretty much any healer I've ever met has been a wounded healer. And I find that very true often.
Yes, I would say I've definitely gone through the wounded healer part for sure. I had, kind of one of those fun, interesting childhoods that was definitely colorful for sure. I think when I very first was starting to sense women being pregnant, and being able to read people's palms, that I kind of understood that I could see people a little bit different. So, I didn't really start understanding the healing part of it until I started to read people's auras or read from a soul that had crossed over for them, and then feeling their tears of just utter happiness, that I was like, oh my gosh, like this touches a part of your soul, and this is amazing. And so there's so much that goes on with it, just reading all of it.
Yeah, so like when did you like start getting into the more professional setting?
Oh, I kind of like dove into that for sure. Somebody had asked me to show up and do some tarot cards when there just happened to be space, a room available, and they were like, go for it, take this space. And from there I started, just kind of for the afternoon doing Reiki, and then I just started getting appointments, and it just kind of flowed from there. So it just never really stopped, and I love it. I love having people come in, and so we move buildings, and I move around too. So things change and shift, which makes it really fun because there's always new new things going on, fresh.
Yeah, now for all of our other viewers out here that do not know what Reiki is, would you mind explaining that, Contessa?
Oh my goodness, you're gonna
I'm gonna throw that one on
Reiki. Yes. Reiki is I get, this is where I get stumped with the words. Reiki is the universal source energy. And so we're all energy beings. And Reiki is a form of being able to basically vamp or work on your own energy so that you're healing your own self, but using a Reiki practitioner or healer, as you would say. And so Reiki is like where you would come and have your chakras realigned and adjusted, and be able to just kind of release a lot of negativity.
that. Does it also involve like not only just the healing part of balancing out the energy fields out and clearing some of the blocks out, but does it also include a very emotional level where the healer actually talks to the person?
I tend to, yes. I mean, I've seen a lot of practitioners that feel like, no, that's all there is to it. That they would just work the chakra system and then that's it. So it just depends on who you're going to use as your healer. That's all. It's your
Yeah.
choice.
And I've seen a lot like every healer, even if they're this like they're both the same kind of practitioner, like they're both Reiki masters or whatever, that they each have their own different styles. And would you say that's fairly true?
Oh, absolutely. Everybody is completely and totally unique. And you have to remember, all of us went through kindergarten, right? So just because we went through kindergarten all together with the same teacher doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to have the same experiences or, you know, bring the same stuff to the table per se. So it really just depends on what your gift is. If you're doing Reiki, how you can see, hear, or sense certain things for your clients. You know, it just, and it's really like, what's your niche? You know, what do you like? Like with me, when I do Reiki, I really enjoy and always have enjoyed working with crystals. So I will bring my crystals into part as part of the healing too. So I know a lot of people now are starting to become a lot more open with their crystals and, you know, bringing them out, understanding how they heal, how easy it is to work with their energies and so forth. So it really just depends on the person, what they.
I'd agree. And you know, for like when I heal people, it's like I like my style is like I'll put them in a protective bubble of energy that's, you know, very calming, very safe for them. And so it kind of makes them feel very nice. And it's kind of like some a little bit of elemental energies are flowing to where it's like water. It kind of balances out their system and it just kind of makes them feel like they're more open and like they are in a safe enough place where they can talk. And I usually start talking to them and helping them finding the blocks in their system. And like, if I'm actually working with somebody, I'll pass over the blocks in their system, or I'm able to just look at the blocks, you know, just by looking where they're at. Like, I believe I had an interesting experience with it yesterday. It was actually with my mom. Like, I was able to tell like where two of her blocks were. One was in her throat where she couldn't quite communicate all of her ideas and thoughts. Sometimes she wished she could, and sometimes with her heart where she felt like she couldn't quite give everything that she wanted to, and it kind of really made her angry in a way that she couldn't quite give that. And then I kind of gave her some advice, and you know, I'll keep the advice private. You know, I like to keep those pretty confidential, but just for the sake of that, I'll just tell you that. Like for me, like I tend to kind of just look at a person, then it's kind of like for me, it's like almost like if any of you seen the movie Predator, where it's kind of like my vision almost kind of changes. It's within the mind's eye, not necessarily the physical, but it's like I'm feeling it, and it changes to where I can see all the blocks in their system or even damages, like physical damage. And, you know, I can shift between those, and it's kind of like, and it can help me very easily find the blocks in their system. What kind of style do you use for yours, Contessa?
Well, I was going to say, I find that really interesting that you say that. And I think that that's actually really beautiful that you have worked on yourself enough to be able to see, sense, and feel those energy blocks in somebody, because I think that's very important. We're all energy beings, so we all work on different ways of being able to see something, but in essence, it's all, you know, kind of an electricity type thing. We're working with that electricity, getting that energy moving, right?
Yeah.
For me, what I love is I do a lot of meditation. I have spent a lot of time just being quiet and listening and just allowing the information to come in, so that when I am working on a client, it's at a deeper level of being quiet, where I've asked my higher self to come step in, as well as the archangels and the angels, on allowing that person's higher self to come in as well too, and give me the tools and the guidance so that I can, you know what I mean, work this puzzle out for them. And it's really nice because with the Reiki, with the energy and the healing like that, you really do need to make sure that you have that person's permission, you know, because you don't want it to bounce off them. It's, you know, when they're participating, it's a different level of healing, and it's actually really bittersweet to feel that soul level of understanding. Hey, you know, there's no way I would have known this. There's no, you know, but the way that you're higher self is communicating with me and that I'm interpreting it, this and this and this is what I'm feeling. And so it's pretty interesting to see, like you say, then what's the emotional injury or feeling that as well as the physical. You start to see on somebody's aura, like if they had a knee injury or, you know, a neck injury, thyroid, if you have a hard time speaking, stuff like that, communication, you know, that gets cloudy. We forget that our whole mind, this starts getting cloudy with worry and fear, and then it starts kind of going in. It's not fun. No.
I would agree completely with what you said, because like for me, it's like I see a lot of times it's like people like that are psychic, they're interested in just the, you know, the flashy stuff, but 90% of like what being psychic is like you said, is the ability to be able to have that inner knowing of listening and having that quiet kind of feeling. And I have to say that's a psychic's greatest gift.
Yes.
And it's also for me too, it's like without honing those psychic senses and that ability to listen, 90% of all the other abilities are useless.
Yes. And that's what a lot of it is it's like patience is huge. And I am totally not a patient human being whatsoever. And so I'm starting to realize that the more that I actually sit and I'm quiet and I realize like I legitimately have the ability to tap into absolutely everything of the universe and just be so fulfilled with all this that it just makes it so nice. It's like, thank you. It's awesome. I love it.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I found that it's like when you do that and you have that inner knowing, it kind of really pushes you in that direction where you're like, where am I supposed to go? And I find often like where these things start to come in is both from the heart center and also the crown, and it kind of goes into here and then kind of spreads throughout you.
Oh yeah.
And I find like whenever you learn something new, it takes a few days to kind of settle in. Like to where it's like you know it, but then it kind of starts to transform where it's like now I'm able to kind of talk about it and explain it, and then it kind of moves towards like now I can really teach you about it.
Well, and that's the funny part.
Mm-hmm.
When you start to have the thin veil and say all of your senses are picked up, there are lots of times where I'll turn around and tell somebody that, you know, they have a spirit or something that's near them. And my daughter will have to help me with my wording because it's like, you know, I don't want to throw them or scare them. But sometimes it's like, oh, by the way, that's, you know, next to you. And, you know, so it kind of throws you off guard. I think sometimes. So people tend to forget that it gets a little bit mumbled, and just give it a second and know that, you know, if you're picking up things like that, it takes a second to let the waters kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I tell people in some of my videos, it's like energy when you receive it, it's like you don't just hear it. It's kind of like it's like more like pictures, images, and pure information that comes in, and like sometimes there's words, but not as often. And it's like being in the presence of a teacher, a really good teacher.
Yes.
And it's like just because of that presence of that teacher, you're able to receive a much deeper understanding.
Well, and only usually the people that train themselves with the words would see the words.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it really is, how are you developing your own gift and sense? You know, as a healer, it makes sense. It's like, okay, well, are you better over here in this arithmetic area, or are you going to be in geometry? Like, you find your subject that you work with and then work with your guides. What's going to be easier?
Mm-hmm. And I love that because like I find like there's a couple like I've almost come up with like classifications for different psychics. Like some are more visionaries and some are more feelers and some are just like they know, some are just like they hear things. And it's like it's finding those strengths that make it a lot easier to go with, because you develop your strength first and then you kind of spread out and start to develop in other areas. And I
Mhm.
find if you try to go in every which way, you're not going to be strong at all. You're kind of just going to fall apart because you have no strong base to fall back on.
Yeah, and but it's also picking yourself back up again too, because
Yeah.
you're not always gonna always be correct in every specific thing, and I think that those are kind of good things because it humbles you. It's like, oh wait a second, you know, and is that ego kind of stepping in, like what, you know, and so there are different levels to it too, for sure. What made you say, this is what I'm going to do? You
For me, my journey kind of started like when I was at college, and I went to a particular college, and like I had some bad like stuff that went on with my my own personal feelings with my heart and stuff, and like and I just got really badly hurt. I was a very sensitive soul, and it just kept feeling like every couple of months it would just hit me again and again, and it felt like the walls were closing in. And you know, there came to a moment one time when I was kind of out in the field, like on campus, and it was kind of a very healing moment where I kind of realized it was like, there is a way out of this darkness. And then it kind of developed along where it's like I felt like, I need to help people. And, as I worked more with a mentor that I eventually found, and they helped heal me along in the process and helped me bring into my path, I was like, this is for me. And even years prior, when like there was a couple times like I was like really sad to the point where like I remember like looking off a ski lift and I wondered like, shouldn't I just jump, just end it all right here? Or should I let this blade in my hand just kill me or whatever? And I felt those feelings. They were very palpable, very strong, and very hard. And but there was always a kind of a voice that kind of said, you've got something to do still. And I always listen to that. And the one thing about me is like, I've always had this very inner knowing where it's like, if I'm listening for a particular voice, it's like it helps me along. And it's sometimes in those darkest moments, you've got to kind of, look at the pain, but also look inside because that's where you're going to find your deepest healing.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And it's huge to like even acknowledge that you would have feelings like that. And a lot of us have feelings like that. And to even reach out and say, I need help or whatever is one thing, but then going inward and saying like, I love you, we're going to get through this. It's going to be okay. And doing the guided stuff, because it's like every day for a lot of people, even for me, it's a new battle every day to, get up, get out of bed, put your shoes on and feel like, wait, is this, am I doing this right? And it's hard, it's difficult. So that was a huge reason why I went to rocks because, and learning about the chakras and learning about my body and what emotional state I was in and really healing myself at a deeper level. So I get where you're coming from in that, that moment, because those are huge aha moments and there's nothing like them. It's almost like we can trail along with each other and start, helping each other out. Yeah.
I totally agree. Like, and I find that like every healer has their own different experience. And
Mhm.
like, I also like to talk with others because they have their own experience of like what they do. And, like, you have a lot of the internal stuff that you can find. But it's like when you look to others as well, you're also taking from the external and, you're getting a perspective from all points where it's just like everything starts to just kind of line up.
Yes, and I think a lot of us too are clearing like a lot of karma stuff, and it feels really like we're going in the past and clearing stuff up, and it just feels like some things are being wrapped up right now, or at least that's how it seems like in my in my existence, which is good.
And like for any of you that are watching, we have the Q&A up, and we can take a few questions
Oh
now.
yeah.
And I believe we have enough viewers to do that. I was waiting for that. All right.
Oh
One is from Nicole. She's like, "Hi, I made it."
yeah.
And she's got another question. It's like, "How can I heal my throat chakra?" And like, I have to say that's a bit of a kind of a loaded question, because it's like, why is it like not feeling so good? And like, not only the why, but the what. And what would you say, Contessa, as well with that?
Well, yeah, because your throat chakra actually connects to a lot of things. It is a lot about communication. A lot of it gets blocked because of anger and frustration, because that initial chakra, our heart isn't connected, and so we tend to block things out. So you'll notice symptoms like your shoulder is bothering you, your neck, sometimes you have ear problems, a lot of teeth, stuff like that, sinus, this area starts to get congested and clogged. I'm a huge go-to person of course crystals. I love agate for that area. If that's like not your thing and you don't want to use rocks, I would say start to use sound therapy or colors. A beautiful light blue, and wearing light blue scarves or any type of lighter blue jewelry would really help bring and infuse that area with a lot of good healing energy. Like the blue on your shirt that you're wearing is consistent with the color of that chakra.
And like, here's the funny thing. I had a choice today. I had a choice between a black shirt, a like dark blue, and this one.
I'm like, and I'm wearing black. Yay! Yeah.
Yeah, and like I find like colors, like wearing different shirt colors can help you. Like, am I more fiery or am I being more grounded today?
Yep.
And like,
and that's a huge go-to thing. Like if you're just in a funky mood, and just like we said, if you're feeling that funky mood and you're down and you're low and it's like, oh, and you're just kind of not feeling good, the best thing to do is seriously go through your wardrobe, start seeing what's colorful and fun, and make yourself transition into it. And I know it's a pain in the butt, but to be able to shift that energy, it can really make a huge difference. And I think that that's when we find our belief the strongest in ourselves, when we can say like, no, I have the power to change this. And you know what, it can start with, of course, my outer appearance. Oops, my sage is going crazy. Look at how windy it is. Yay, from California. It's so windy. Oh, it's so hot. Okay, already, hold on. So I came back from a beautiful trip in Zion. I got to show you a nice little selenite sphere. There you go.
Ooh, I love it.
I love it. And then here's another. And so to ground you, here's a beautiful, check this little smoky quartz. Love it.
Wow.
Isn't that pretty? I love it. I'm like, yay. Gotta have your rocks. I love it. So, yeah.
By the way, I had an interesting experience the other day, like with my own personal healing. Like I had a kind of like a lanyard that had a lot of memories associated with it, and some more painful than others. And that day, like I was preparing for my mom to come, and I was preparing my house's energy, kind of making it very welcoming, very nice, and putting a lot of high energy into it. And so here's what happens. Like I go out to meet my mom, and then, I take her upstairs, go upstairs, open the door, and as soon as I open the door, like it seemed like my lanyard didn't catch on anything. It just exploded. Like as I was like turning the key and entered the door. Yeah, it just went kaboom.
Well, do they sage in the house? Do they do anything like that? Is that the house you grew up in?
No, like this is my own personal apartment. I was just preparing it with energy and and all that. I had a lot of high energy coming into the place, and then when I entered the house, it just went like it exploded.
Well, remember again, I'm saying it's energy. We are energy. Think about it. We're talking like turning on a light bulb and having so many different degrees to a light bulb. Well, if you store and put so much energy in something, of course, like a light bulb, it's gonna burst, you know. And rocks are a huge, you know, very good first indicator on is that going on. Like,
And this was just for the house. Like I was just putting it into the house, and then I didn't even put anything into the lanyard. It was just there. And then just like as soon as it touches the house energy, I guess there was something in the lanyard that I was just like, nope, I can't stand it, and it just burst.
That's funny. That's funny. I love
Have
it.
you had anything like that where it's just things just like it's just like something that was very painful all of a sudden just pretty much just like it just disappeared or got destroyed?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. You know what was so funny? The other day we were at the mall and we got a hematite ring, and we hadn't really staged it yet, and we put it on and kind of had a little bit of a heated discussion, and the ring just went pop and shattered in all different directions, and we were like, "Oh, okay, well, you know, let's just not talk about that. We'll get a different one and stage it first, and you know, dedicate it." And like,
It was just like, I'm not going home with you guys.
yep, it was done.
It was like, I am 100% done with you guys.
It was fun.
Oh, by the way, I had something cool to show you, Contessa.
Yay!
All right. I've been charging this for a little bit, so it should have plenty of power when I put it up to the screen. Do you know what it is?
That's just awesome.
Yeah, it's a piece of organite. It was something my mentor gave to me as a gift.
That is awesome.
Like it has like bunches of different crystals. It helps keep the house's energy really nice, and it also balances out the electronics. And what's really nice is like if you put over electronics or whatever, like you've heard like how some cactuses can like balance out the electronics' energy in the house. This does the same thing, and it keeps the electronics' energy very balanced, and even radio frequencies as well. And this one, effect when it's fully charged can extend for several miles.
Nice. And for the people that are watching this, make sure you drink a lot of water.
Yeah, I made sure I drank plenty of water before I came on. I was just like, water time.
Hold on, I got an amethyst. That's beautiful. Goody.
Ooh, I love it. I love it.
So especially too, if you are somebody who's new to all of this and wondering about energies, with the different crystals, we're also able to clear your aura and allowing your gifts to actually be opened and cleared. So if certain things happen, have fun, go with it. Drink a lot of water.
Yeah, and I love that you showed an amethyst because it like between quartz and amethyst, like I feel like those are the two go-to crystals when you're first starting out.
And I think that's a good thing too. It's keep it simple.
Yeah, I mean quartz and amethyst, like you can use those things for nearly anything you want. Like they're pretty much like I could use this thing for pretty much anything I wish. And like, what would you say? Like, I know a few properties of the amethyst. Like, it opens like the third eye, and like it helps open it, helps your perception, your psychic senses take off, has a little bit more of the higher energy. And what would be some of the other things? Like, I just put a lot of the basic stuff there, but what are some of the other things? Because I know you're a lot more. Like, you've studied with crystals, you've been with your rocks, you love them so much.
They are my babies. I mean, my company is named Contessa's Rocks. I love my rocks. Well, my hugest thing about amethyst is it's Archangel Michael. It's really associated with protection and that. And it's actually like the queen of the mineral world. So when you start working with amethyst, it's like this calm and peace comes over you that's really sweet.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, like, something like to also bring up is like with crystals, like, and anything, even my organite here, you have to make sure it's charged and then clear it off and take care of it.
And that's just like your computer.
Mm-hmm.
You want to clean your computer, right?
Yeah. And like,
or clear it of old emails and so forth.
yeah. And like, I know moonlight is often the best way to go because it's very gentle. Sunlight can be a little damaging. Like my organite can handle the sun. But
don't put amethyst in the sun. Do not put amethyst in the sun. It is very sensitive.
Yeah. And like, it can often change the rock.
It will make it lighter.
Yeah. And so it's like, if you want to make it a little brighter or a little lighter, okay. But for all intents and purposes, please use moonlight. And if your energy is very good and it's in a very good place, you can use your own. And that's what I did to charge my own crystals because I didn't have sunlight to access it very much. And like when I was in the dorms, like the moon was at a very awkward angle, so it would never come into my room ever, or the sun. And it was just like, man, I can't get it. It's like I can't go put them outside because I was afraid my babies were to go get stolen. And I was just like, no.
Well, but that's the funny things. Rocks, they tend to wander.
Yeah. And it's just like, what do you do? It's like you gotta make sure you take care of your babies. Just like, hey, it's okay. It's okay. And like my thing is like, I do not like when I drop them and like, oh, I'm so sorry. Come here.
Exactly, but I do agree that sometimes they dump.
It's just like, no, come back here.
For real, exactly. I love it. All right, let me bring out some angel cards.
All right. And we've got questions in the Q&A after we can do. And if any of you are still interested, you can still put questions up there. And let's see what Contessa's got with her cards.
We're going to do just a few little shuffles here. I'm getting feedback. I hate that.
Yeah. It's kind of weird how that happens.
What happened to your headphones?
Oh, I have them right here. Sometimes I just like being able to have everything because the headphones are kind of big.
Okay, so just like with Reiki, whenever I get my cards. You gonna put those in? Yes.
Yeah, let's put on the headphones so
perfect. So then that way I'm not like screaming back at you. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you are new to opening up to your gift and say you're a medium or you want to start working with the angels, the angelic realm, tarot cards are great. There's also a great thing of having angel cards, and they're fantastic. So I love, love, love working with these. These are a great little fun deck. So usually what I do with these cards too is I do the same thing. I just kind of take a second, find my center, and that's what a lot of opening and working with and healing and doing these gifts is all about, is finding a good little center of quiet, asking for the guidance to come in, but allowing the time of the quiet so that you can listen and hear what the guidance is to your question. So how many cards do you want to do? We can do just one, or we can do like...
I'm feeling 4.
Oh, you're gonna make it long, huh?
Yeah, we're going for it, Contessa. We're going for the gold.
Yay! All right. So, and then I will ask you, do you feel that that shuffle was correct, or do you want to continue shuffle a little bit more?
Okay. One more shuffle.
Okay. All right. Yeah?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Oh, I feel the energy there. It's everything. You know, there's that kind of like almost, you feel like, oh, there's almost like an audible click.
Click.
Yeah, where it's just like everything's falling into place.
So this is really cute. The first one is about a wedding, and it's really beautiful because we were talking about, you know, a lot of beauty about being in love and so forth, right? You know, falling in love in essence with ourselves. So this card is kind of like saying, oh, and you know what? This is actually spot on, actually, because today is a marriage just became legal for everybody that is gay, straight, right?
Exactly. It's just like,
and this is exactly what the card says. So marriage is the union of two souls joined in love, mutual respect, and commitment. It signifies the desire to deepen love over time. Remember that, especially when you have hard times in your marriage, that it's about deepening your love over time. You're going to have hard times, but you know, your wedding day is a testament of your well-founded faith in love's power. So just remember that usually when it's commitment, it's all about love's power. You know, good source. Continually breathe life into the faith and love. So that's awesome. I'm so excited because everybody that I love wants to get married, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
and
I'm so
first
happy.
card we drew, first
I
one.
know, right? So
Like,
you're
mine.
like, this is a great card. So this is the now, and this is about assertiveness. So a lot of us need to actually take the time, instead of being passive aggressive over certain things that we want to manifest really fast. And we need to be a little bit more assertive of our needs and our desires in a nice, assertive way, which means everybody involved feels great because they're able to do whatever they need to do to make the team achieve the beautiful goals. And I mean a team, your team of friends, your team of workmates, whatever. I'll get back to the card. So this situation can be healed gently with love as you requested. Yet there's also a need for strength and truthfulness with other people involved. You know, you always want the strength and truth and other people involved, right? So we will stand right behind you as you speak your truth and give you strength and guiding your words. So what's nice is to know whenever you're having those funky situations, ask the angels for help with assertiveness and speaking your truth, which is cool because this goes back to our throat chakra. So a lot of what happens and what happens with our throat chakra too, right, is about, did I speak my truth? Did I have to, you know, for a long time, I had to keep quiet about certain events and things that were happening in my life. And so that severely affected my throat and shoulders. So goes back to being able to speak your truth. Yes.
Yeah, I'd agree. And it's like, you know, what you were saying there earlier kind of comes back with the healer stuff too. It's like, it's okay to set boundaries. It's okay. It's absolutely okay because there's that self-love. It's like, you're not putting anyone off. It's like, you've got to make sure you have that self-love for you too.
Yes. And that is what is the most important, because like you're, you know, putting all the energy of you healing yourself also into that client as well too. And so it does, you know, it does make a huge difference. So when I do a reading, I also don't believe that the future is just one set specific thing, because there's an infinite possibility of, you know, everything that can happen. So once you start really like setting your mind on one specific thing, I want you to just shatter that image, and unless it's just a rainbow of happiness, right? And just understand that there can be the immense possibilities. And what's cool about that is I think that lets love be able to pamper us a little bit more than how we think, because, you know, the universe knows that. This is awesome. This is awesome. Law of attraction. So that's huge, right? Each thought, remember we're talking about our thoughts. So our thoughts can be an investment in energy. So is it negative energy that we're clouding ourselves with worry and frustration? You know, are we doing that? You know? You have the power to choose your thoughts and align them with love, peace, and harmony. At your request, we gladly attune your energies to higher frequencies. Many people don't know that the higher frequencies of having positivity really is like, you know, you get the headaches, you start, you know, getting a little bit, whoa, you know, because it's trying to balance you out. Because a lot of us, when we're tired, when we're dragged down, it's difficult to kind of stay upbeat and positive. But with the law of attraction, if you're continuing to give into the positive thoughts, then you're just going to keep reflecting that. And as a healer, what you're doing with the law of attraction is you're learning that the people that are coming in your door are so beautiful and so refreshed, and you are each divinely doing each other, you know, a huge service. And it's very beautiful. It's very beautiful. I love that. All right.
I totally agree, because like if you go into a thing with as a healer that where it's like it's your own ego that you're healing them,
It's
and
not
that
true. Yeah, it's them healing themselves. We're just being the plug.
yeah,
You know,
we're just the gatekeepers.
that's all we're doing. We're just being the plug. Like that's no different than, you know, going up to the light and flipping on the switch. Well, the electricity's there because somebody put the cords where they needed to go.
Yeah,
You know, and set it up.
We just allow the energy to flow through us, and then we open the door, and we're just like, come on in.
Yes. Last card. So this is the last card. Yay, my husky just came outside. So there's nothing to worry about. You know, when you start to worry, you know what? Just relax about it and don't let it connect to you. You're safe, and this situation is under perfect control of divine providence and universal order. So that's the fun part, when you can start to realize, hey, wait a second, I'm not in control. Everything's perfect. The universe is going as it needs to be. You know, it's all good. Only infuse loving thoughts and emotions into the situation and ensure the highest possible outcome. Let it be effortless through you, right? So when we start to get anxious and we worry and then we're so nervous, like, you know, and I know I get it a lot about even leaving the house.
I love that you just said that. I love that. That's what I was just thinking about that. Cause it's like,
we're all,
like,
connection.
Like, when I was like preparing my house, it's like I was a little stressed, a little anxious, but then I had to go, okay, I've got to relax, otherwise the house and everything and all of its energies won't form right. And so I would just like focus and just allow it to flow and take your time, because if you are in a hurry, it's not going to flow right. You have to kind of just let it go to the point where it's just like, just focus.
And it's almost like that water, you know, once you get it turned on, it's like, oh, it goes, you know, and so it's kind of nice. Some people, they really need, you know, that water faucet or that light turned on way bright. And then some people, you know, they're just kind of, you know, or just, it works out good stuff. Yeah. You don't want to worry. You don't want to worry. And I'm a good worry wart. I'm a mom, you know, I have almost 2 teenagers. My son's almost 13. So I'm super excited. So of course I worry about 50 million thousand things, and I don't want to attract that anymore. So once, you know, I started becoming consciously aware of my thoughts, aware of my chakras, aware of the energy around me, I think it made a huge difference in just being aware of what do I want to attract to me. If I'm fully capable of that, you know, I don't want to let any more bumps and nicks and scrapes along my journey than I really have to. No, thank you.
Yeah, I'd agree. And like, what I find too is like, when I speak from sometimes like where I'm afraid or I'm angry, it's like, okay, where is that pit of fear coming from? Let's dive into that actually, and dive in. And let's see what is actually behind all of that. And that kind of goes back into our last thing when we talked about shadow work.
Yes. Yes. Oh, yeah. We need to put the link to that. That's over in my Contessa's Corner channel, right? We talked a lot about shadow work and being able to fall back in love with the shadow aspect of ourselves. So yeah, I mean, I think, and that's the best part, is it all really does tie in together. And so, you know, a lot, I think with the healing, with people being psychic and being gifted, is they don't really realize how much studying is really involved and how much learning about themselves is really involved, as well as letting go of a lot of the past and falling really in love with yourself. And so it's kind of funny. It's like, oh, you don't think it's all that much studying, but you know, sometimes it gets really deep and it starts talking about past lives and, you know, beginning of time and, you know, just different places and aspects of who and what we are as these beings. And sometimes it can be very, very deep and a little bit much. So sometimes it's kind of good to lighten up the load and like, yeah.
I totally agree. And like some people think they want to take the fast track. It's like, okay, we're gonna do this so fast. We're gonna get to where all these levels are, and it's just like, breathe. Just breathe. It takes time, patience. It takes practice. And if you don't practice, it's like you're not gonna do it. And some people are like, well, how can I practice? I don't know how to do it. And you know, like there are videos out there. There are also books, and you know, there's also looking within. But if you need a place to start, like there's some really good books out there that you can start with, some good teachers. There's some good videos out there, and you know, look for the psychics that I like to go for, the ones that have a very grounded perspective at first, where they don't have a lot of the fluff, because like I find that when you put too much fluff and everything, it kind of boggles the rest of the information to the point where it's like there's nothing to really to it, because it's like it's all, you have to really hunt for it, and it's like how, which is actually supposed to be important here, and that can be a little hard for some people. So like I decided to, that's why I based my channel off is like with at first the energy exercise, where they could become aware of their own energy, and I have that as one of my first videos in Energy Worker University, both just the normal playlist and also the freshman version. And by the way, also Contessa's video with shadow work, that's also in a playlist for healers. So if you want to access that.
Can you hear my
yeah, I see your husky.
I'm like, my little husky's coming to say hi. He's like, hey mom, I'm just coming to say hi. Sorry. No, and I think that that's what's the important part too, is you know, nobody gets to be that great healer like us. You know, it really does take time, and it should. You know, it's like an aged wine or an aged cheese. You know, you want that refinement in what you're doing. And you know, I would say journal a lot.
Yes.
You know, make sure you're writing stuff down, because you can go back and look back at you know, how far you've come. And I have a lot of people who've been really amazing at whenever I've done certain readings, or I love being out in Bakersfield for First Friday. It's one of my favoriteest things to do, because I love being out in Bakersfield. And so I will bring like my book out there, or certain clients have it. And, you know, we've kind of went back and, you know, written in that certain little things. And it's so funny because everybody has been so different and unique about what I would think that they would have written in that book, in that little journal, as opposed to what they do write in it. So it's kind of fun to go back and, you know, like have my own personal journal, and then as well have all these beautiful friends that have come along the way and gotten a rock from me and stuff like that. It's just been, it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. And like you're saying, it's like there's a bit of a development process where you kind of just, you go with it. And sometimes you have more channels open. Some people may progress faster in some areas. And it was like I was saying earlier here, you've got to find your strengths first, because then you can start to build off of those. And it makes your time a lot easier, because if you start to build off a weak area, it's like, and somebody else's stuff, where it's like, where you're not really feeling that's your way to go, it can be really hard for you to develop your gifts.
Well, but at the same time too, though, is
Mhm.
using your whole body of works is really good too. Like you kind of want to do the jumping jacks with the sit-ups and the push-ups too. I mean, they're kind of a pain and you might not be very good at them because like say your ankle hurts or you know what I mean, your knees are off. So you might not be able to do that exercise, but it's the total body health that you want, right? So that's the same thing
Agreed.
with your gifts you're going to have. And the cool thing too is nobody on the other side, like say you're doing mediumship, right? The people that have crossed over, they're still that soul is still the same, you know, so their personalities are even different from you going from one reading to another reading. Those people were even different. So you're going to feel off that soul totally different. So it's not going to be the same reading. It's not going to be the same jumping jack, right? It's
Yeah.
going to be a little bit different. So keep that in mind. And once like you'll start to see that that's the fun part where you're like, oh, well, wait a
Yeah.
second, maybe this person, I'm not really, you know, reading like say their aura, but I'm sensing something from the way that they smell. So I'm going to kind
Mhm.
of go in that area because, you know, maybe that person's loved one had a smoker in the family and that's what I'm smelling. Or, so that's how you start to develop the different senses as well as making that different communication. Hopefully, of course, like I say, with the souls of light too, people that you want, because sometimes the not so friendly ones stay around. So you do want to protect yourself. And like we said before, set boundaries. You
Agreed.
know, is
And
you can say,
I'm,
you know, because there are some people that have crossed over, you're developing these gifts, you don't understand why you're feeling really freaky and really upset and really down, but you know, maybe it's that soul's personality that's kind of bumping up against you. Because you know how we start, you know, say we go out with a friend, they have certain personalities, sometimes we pick those personalities up, you know, or those little habits up and we don't even realize we did it. Same thing with the
mhm.
souls. We need to make sure that we're setting those boundaries of, you know what, look, if you are not a nice person when you were on earth, I'm not going to deal with you. Not here, not there. You know,
Mhm.
blocking that. I don't need that. And I'm not going to allow that law of attraction near me. So, you know, like just have fun with it. The happier and more, you know, bouncy you are, it definitely comes through more. I've had instances where I feel horrible afterwards if I've been feeling a little bit low and yet I kind of did that reading and that person feels good, but I'm still like, oh, you know, it makes things a little bit different, you know, for
Yeah.
sure. And but
And
you know, you're like, no, you know, it's all good. Go with the flow. Yeah.
and you know what's funny too is like there's so many people that like they go into different things and it's like, you know, like I said, like play to your strength, and that's very good. And it's like something to really build you up. But it's also like you said, it's important to touch on our weaknesses too, because if you don't, you just kind of you're just strong in this one area. And so it's okay to dabble a little bit in here, and then you just start to build up these areas. And like I said, once you either got the base, it's like then you notice like you start to branch off too a lot more. And so since you've already dabbled in these other areas, it's like, hey, these are growing a lot faster now. And you kind of start to see even little personality changes because, you know, I found like psychic senses are also very key in like what kind of that person is and like so like even their it can affect how they act and their personality and like how they like to go with situations and stuff. So it's like I found like if just based on a person's personality, you can tell what kind of strengths that they have in their psychic senses.
Mhm. Yes. For
Yeah.
sure. You got
Yeah.
more questions, huh?
Yes, we've got questions, and they've been kind of building from one person, but um, like this one was from the gay marriage one we answered earlier. It's like, oh my god, my two cousins are getting married. And
Yay! Congratulations! Yay!
this one was from the when we showed the Orgonite, and I think also your crystal too, because I
Yay!
definitely felt that one. All right, and this one's from the blue with the scarf. And it's like, thanks, yes, true, Contessa. Blue is my favorite color. Just put blue on my nails. Okay. And I think this one was from like when we said something that was very confirmation. Forget what this one
Oh
was, but
yeah. Nice.
yeah. But yeah,
Yay.
but yeah, if you guys have any questions, put them in the Q&A because I think we're kind of
Yes.
wrapping up.
Yes,
But
we love hearing from you too. I mean, for sure. Keep your comments coming. Love it.
and so it's like we are winding down a little bit, but it's like put your comments over here and questions, and we'll answer them best we can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, because
and
like and the best thing too is this is the funnest part to having YouTube. You know, a lot of people start opening their gifts when they're in their teens, you know, young and then into their teens, and it's like, you know, where do I look? And I need all this information. And so this has really been awesome to be able to say like, hey, you know what? It's really super simple and it's not as difficult as, you know, it seemed to have been at first, and love it.
yeah, and hey, I had a thing I was kind of thinking in mind. How do you first prepare for a healing session, Contessa? Like, what do you do, like, to prepare yourself when you go into a situation where you're, you know, it's going to be something where it's going to be a little hard, and you go into that healing session? What do you do exactly?
Well, just sorry, my husky. Well, you know, Reiki is very beautiful if you have, you know, certain things going on. But I do have some clients that have had cancer and it's been terminal. So those are the harder appointments to have. I definitely do take that into consideration, of course, because I feel like it's such a blessing to spend this time with people. So usually what I do is it almost takes me like, you know, some time where I get the bed ready and I lay out certain crystals that I feel work with that person's energy. And I call on all the angels to be ready for us. And then I go and I meditate for quite a long time, as well as lighting candles. And then before the person comes, I will remove the rocks, and then I get water that usually has crystals in it as well, and I'll have the water get that ready, and then I pick specific rocks for them that is there to take home. And then I wait. Yeah, I wait. And then when they get there, of course, there's always paperwork to fill out because, you know, everything's all about like you have to have your paperwork, right? I always say that. I'm like, I know it sounds horrible, but even going to the bathroom, you need your paperwork. It's got to be done. So there's always fill things out because sometimes, you know, there are changes in your health or in your emotional state. There are changes in what goes on in your different relationships. So I just kind of like that to be written down. And then I get my piece of paper and my pad, and I set that down, and then I give them a moment to relax. And then from there, I talk more to my guides as well as whoever is sitting there, their guides. And then we start, continue the session from there. So usually as I'm scanning the person, what I will do is I will actually stop most of the time and kind of write down what I'm feeling because, you know, that is a long time to kind of retain certain things and say, oh, okay, well, I'm going to go over this or I'm going to go over that. And then usually afterwards, we go over the signs and symbols of things that my guides were showing me that were just part of the Reiki healing experience. So it's been fun. Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, there was a healer that mentioned to me as well, something they do to kind of prepare themselves is they'll wash their hands
Oh,
like
yes.
with water
Yes.
and
Well,
clean the energy off their
yes.
hands. And I might rather like that. I was like, I can really see how that could work.
When I
And
get the water with the crystals, that's usually what I'm doing with my hands. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
and
because you want to be cleansed.
yeah, and what I do for me, like I came from an environment where it's like, you know, the water wasn't the best, and you know, and I kind of felt like, you know, there wasn't a lot of good stuff where I could have sage or anything else. I was pretty much like, I don't have any tools whatsoever. I don't even have a candle that I could, use to consume the negative energies into the flame, because it's like there's all that stuff with rules where I couldn't have them. So what I learned how to do was like I learned like early on like how to shift my vibrational energy where it starts to go really high, and it helps cleanse that negative energy out of me to where it's like I feel a lot better, and it kind of puts me in a spot where it's like I'll center, and I'll be just kind of like I'm ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you don't have tools or alternatives, it's like the tools are amazing, and they're like I use the tools when I can because they are very powerful.
Yeah, it's just the gravy on the cake,
Mhm.
or the gravy on the cake, the icing on the cake, the gravy on the mashed potatoes. Gosh, I'm so dyslexic.
Yeah, and
Yeah, it is good. It is good to have them. It is nice to have them. But if you can't afford them, or there are times where, sometimes people just need, that healing hand, and you just can't, light the sage, and you can't light the candles, and that's totally okay.
yeah.
It's still the intention and the love that's behind it, that makes a
Mhm.
huge world of difference. But having your tools is awesome too.
Yeah, and the tools, I recommend using the tools because if you use them with your own energy and stuff, it's like it augments your own.
It
And
amplifies. Yeah, it
uh,
amplifies. Hmm.
and like, and I'll show you this little here is like, what I do is like, I focus on my energetic field, like my entire body and also my energetic field. And then I start to kind of like, I feel like, I literally feel it where it's like, I'm feeling it vibrate back and forth. And I'll kind of demonstrate this actually, see if you could feel it. Okay. Feel that?
Light ice.
Yeah. And that's what I usually do, just kind of that was like a little quick one, but it's just like it helped me get kind of like where it's like I cleared myself up and I was just like, that's better.
It's true too, and like there's just nothing better than being able to just clear away and relax, and it's all good. So
Mhm.
I'm so glad to have come and had you like visit with me tonight and go over all this stuff. I'm so excited. I can't wait. Hopefully you guys definitely leave comments, huh?
Yeah.
I love
And
your
and like I'll share this video like on Contessa's Corner stuff,
oh
and
yeah.
then I'll share it on some of my other stuff, and like to my own subscribers, like subscribe to Contessa's channel, and she has plenty of other videos that are really good. She has hangouts every once in a while, and I'm hoping at one point where I can do some hangouts, but it's like, I've got to find some people to where I can do that with. And
Oh yeah, we need to do a hangout. We will definitely pick a night soon for sure. I would love
yeah,
that. Yeah, and you need some too. Schedule it.
yes, yes
Put
we
it on the
do.
calendar and just make it happen. Make it happen.
Yeah, it'll be really cool if we could like say like I don't know like every third week or something, or it's like
Yeah.
when the full moon comes out, it's like, hey, we're going to
Well,
have this.
usually I do, but I ended up going to Teresa Caputo and actually ended up getting a reading from her out of like thousands of people, and it was phenomenal. She is absolutely amazing, and there's nothing like having her standing right next to you. It was amazing. So the next full moon, for sure, I will try and have the hangout. And usually with mine, I love everybody to show up and then like bring crystals. I want to see your rocks and your energy. And that's the best part about my channel too, is like having everybody show me their rocks, because a lot of us really do energy. We love collecting them. We love the connections that they all bring. And it's just awesome. I'm just so over the moon happy with all the connections and all the love. It's amazing. Blows me away every day. I love
Yeah,
it.
and when you were talking about your reading, I saw your like heart chakra like just was like it just like almost beamed out. It was just like yes, it like that was very powerful for you,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
But it is fun. I love it. I mean, I think that God has the best sense of humor, and I'm so excited that I just am incarnated now. You know, just like all of it is just so much fun, and I think that's the best part is once you like embrace it, it's like you sit back and you can be like, oh my gosh, I have like the most amazing life, and just to like. So yeah, I mean, for me, it is because it's just so precious. I think it really is a present. It really is awesome. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, but anyways, like guys,
Oh
like,
yeah. Yeah.
subscribe, and if there's anything you want us to answer, put it in the comments. We'll look at it, we'll answer it, and we'll coordinate soon. I'm hoping maybe, like, what do you say, maybe in maybe about 2 to 3 weeks we'll have another one of these.
For sure. Yes, I would love that. I think that would be awesome. Right on.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so keep that in mind. We'll be
Yes.
in Contessa, we'll be still talking.
Yay.
So anyways, have a great night, guys.
Yes. Yes. Bye.
Bye.